Getting ready for the SEC tournament. We don't know our opponent yet. We'll go to the game Wednesday and watch Mississippi and Missouri and see see who wins and be ready to go Thursday at 2:30 Eastern or around about then. So we got some work in this morning. We're getting ready to practice again here this afternoon, and then we'll fly over there and get prepared. So congrats to Easton, obviously first team All SEC, sixth man of the year. I don't think that was much of a surprise. Days was second team All SEC, and really proud of him. And Brendan Murray being on the All Freshman team, tremendous accomplishment for all three of those guys. So we're very, very proud of them. Very pleased with that.
You finished 1-5 of your last 8, and all the losses were exceptionally close. Do you have to feel like you have to kind of come back to kind of where you were at the beginning of the year as far as the feeling you have about what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong?
Well, we still got some stuff we've got to get corrected, but we're certainly playing a lot better. We're certainly playing a lot closer to our capabilities. We're playing a lot closer to how we were earlier in the season, and so we want to keep that going as we're in Tampa.
You won't know your opponent obviously till Thursday, but just
Wednesday.
Or Wednesday, yeah, sorry. What do the next couple of days, I guess, look like in practice?
Well, we've got to work against some things that each team does that a little bit differently. We've got to work against Ole Miss's zones. We've got to work against a hard hedge on a ball screen. We've got to work against Missouri trapping our ball screen. So we'll work a little bit on stuff that works between, that goes between both teams.
I guess my second part was how much of that is just working on yourselves?
We're going to do that. We've got to work on our 6-minute game. We've got to work on some of our late game situations, our late game stuff. We're going to spend some time on that this afternoon as well. So try to work on stuff generally that can be used for both teams, defensive principles, fundamentals, that sort of thing. And then we're going to work on a lot of our late game stuff just to make sure we're on point with that.
You've been in the league long enough to kind of give an assessment. Where do you see the competition this year stacking up?
What do you mean?
Just strength of the league.
I mean, the league's good. I mean, I think there'll be 6 of us that are in the NCAA tournament. I think all 6 of us are going to have really good seeds. I think all 6 of us will be in the top half of the bracket. I think there won't be anybody that's lower than an 8 seed. Probably won't be anybody lower than a 6 seed. And so, I think, the top, we're going to have 6 teams in, and they're all in the top half of the bracket. That speaks, and I think Florida could get in. A&M, I know, is kind of working their way over that way. Whichever team wins that game gets a crack at Auburn. Could certainly help them. But the league's really, really good, especially at the top. And like I was telling you guys earlier, of those 6 teams, we're obviously one of them. You could play 10 total games against those other 5. We've played 9, and so that's we played. Of the 9, we played 5 on the road, and 4 of them at home. So that's a pretty tough schedule. The only one we didn't get was Auburn at home, but we played by far the most. I think Alabama was second at 7 or 8 of them. They had Tennessee once and Arkansas once, so I think they had 8. They were right below us, but that certainly we had a very, very. And the bottom 4, we played Georgia once, Ole Miss once, Missouri once, and Vanderbilt once. So we've had a very challenging schedule, which I think will hopefully prepare us as we go into March. But the league is very, very good.
You mentioned last night that you might play some zone to avoid the foul trouble. How long have you been wrestling with that? And is Bill Armstrong proud proponent?
Bill loves the zone. He likes. You don't ever have to convince him. We call him Billy Big Time because he loves the zone so much. So you don't ever have to convince him to play zone. But we've worked on it. Actually, the first time we started working on it was getting ready for Mississippi State because we felt like we may need to zone Mississippi State. So we've worked on it. We zoned Mississippi State the year before at Starkville, and so we've kind of had it in since then. But we'll see if we need it.
Coach, first of all, I'm jealous you're going to my hometown, so
All right.
have fun. Second of all, how does the mindset change from that last regular season game to now, if it does?
Well, you just got to be aggressive. I tell our guys all the time in tournament play, if you make mistakes, make aggressive mistakes. We don't want to make any passive mistakes. So, we want to be aggressive, we want to be confident, we want to be loose. That's what we talk about with our guys going into tournament play, and so that's our mindset, and that's what we try to do.
Well, last year you were very vocal going into the tournament about saying, hey, LSU hasn't won in a long time. You got to the final. Is it the same mindset this year? Are you going with the same
Yeah,
feeling? Or is it different?
I mean, a little bit. We came up with a shot short. It's a lot harder to win 4 in 4 days. I mean, I'm a realist. But it's important in the sense that we've got some really good opportunities. First off, the Missouri Ole Miss game, we don't need to knock our seeding down by. We don't need to give back what we got against Alabama. And then if we could beat them, you got a crack to help yourself again. From then on out, you got really good cracks to help yourself. Look, the last time I was in Tampa, Mississippi State won 4 games in 4 days to win it. I think it was 2009, but they won 4 in 4 days to win it. Auburn did it a couple years ago in Nashville, the year they went to the Final Four. So it can be done, but the hardest game in any tournament to win is the first one. You have to win the first one, and that's the most think back to our deal in Destin this earlier in November. That Penn State game was a lot harder than the Wake Forest game, right? Which team had a lot better season? Wake Forest. Wake Forest going to get in the NCAA tournament. Like the first game in a tournament is always the most difficult to win, and so you got to win that one to kind of get your momentum going and. Everybody's more prepared. Second game in a tournament, we're going to be very difficult to prepare for, just because what we do is pretty unique. The way we play on offense and defense is pretty unique, and so we've got to put everything we have into winning the first one, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. Does that answer your question? A little over the map there.
Coach, with the SEC tournament coming up and March Madness coming up, what has been something that you've been stressing to the team that they really need to improve on before getting into those big games?
Well, just the little things, making our free throws, not turning the ball over, being solid on defense. I know it sounds like a broken record, but that's what wins in tournament basketball. That's what wins in tight games and tough games. That's what gets it done.
I think last year you talked about you didn't think you could improve your seeding with this, right? And obviously now you think you do. How much do you think you can move with this?
It would move up or down 1 probably, depending on how it goes. Last year our resume was pretty thin. We were we didn't have a whole lot. This year there's a lot of us that are all right around each other. We're all bunched together that are on the 5, 6, 7 line, so to speak. There's a bunch of us that are all right there together. So I think how the conference tournaments go are huge. I think that's going to be a big component. I think particularly there's us and one other team in the league there's really us and 2 other teams in the league that are right there next to each other with the metrics and just a lot of different things. And so how we all perform in this, I think, I know how in the bracket sometimes works. They've got slots, this team from the SEC will be boom, 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 boom. So I think how we play in this will affect that a little bit.
And you're shooting for that 5-6 just further deeper in the tournament?
What do you mean?
You don't have to face if you're a 7, is that the idea?
Well, yeah. Look, the 5, 6, and 7 all win the first round game between 60 and 64% of the time. So your odds of winning the first round game are about the same. The 7 wins the second round game, go to Sweet 16 18% of the time. The frickin' 6 wins at 31% of the time. All right, so you can almost double your odds. Well, not quite double, but and then the 5 wins it a little bit more than that. Closer to, I think, 40 or 41. So you've got, you're just increasing the odds at the 5, 6, and 7 of losing that first game are all tough. All right, the 10, 11, and 12s are all very good, and in fact, the 11s and 12s you can get power conference teams. Right, so those teams are all good, and you're going to win 6 out of 10 of those. Roundabout. But once you get to that second one, the numbers really are different between being a 5 or a 6 or a 7 or an 8.
Coach, we talked about defense a lot down the stretch. Just where do you feel like y'all are at going into this tournament?
We got to be better. Our offense has been better. Our defense hasn't been as good. A lot of that's been giving up the rebounds. the rebounding's led to some fouling. So that's been a big challenge for us. We got a defensive rebound better.
Yeah, well, the first time LSU ever had to play 4 games in this tournament, Dale Brown, in order to prove Fatigue's state of mind, decided he was going
I'm
to
not doing that.
stay up all night and not sleep. Not sleep all night and come visit the media at 4 o'clock in the morning at their hotel. You're not going to do that?
No, we're not gonna do that.
You're going to get your sleep?
I don't sleep
You don't
much.
sleep anyway.
I don't sleep much, but yeah, we're not gonna do that.
Is there a clear-cut favorite in this tournament, or do you feel like there's like 4 or 5 teams that could actually win this thing?
I mean, I think, you know, any of those top 4, you know, I think there's 6 of us that are all, you know, the 6 NCAA tournament teams all are really good teams. You know, Alabama bombs in a bunch of threes, they can beat anybody. No, there's 6 of us are going to the NCAA tournament, so you think any of those 6 are pretty good. Obviously, the 4 with the double bye had a little bit better shot than 2 of us that don't. I mean, you know, look, Auburn is tremendous. I think Auburn and Kentucky are both fighting for a 1 seed. I think if one of those 2 win the tournament, they'll get a 1 seed, and the other one will get the 2. You know, Tennessee's going to be on that 2-3 line. Arkansas is going to be on that. On that 4 line, 4 or 5 line, and I think us and Bama are on that 5-6 line.
Being overlooked has kind of been a constant theme throughout Tari's career. I know you said before that he's got a boulder on his shoulder, not a chip. Has that edge kind of been with him throughout the year? Has that stayed with him?
Yeah, I'd say the best, I think I said this the other day in the presser, the best quality he's got is usually when kids have success, they relax. And the more success he's had, the harder he's worked. He was back in here working at 11 o'clock at night after the Alabama game. What do you have, 20 and some odd against them? So, I mean, the more success he has, the harder he works, which is usually the exact opposite. I mean, I got kids who have 1 decent game, they score 8 points, and they have a great game, and they just shut it. You know, you can't find them in the gym for 2 weeks. And so, for him to be able to continue to improve, continue to work while he's still playing extremely well is a huge credit to him.
Going back to, you said there's a bunch of teams with similar resumes. The fact that you guys, you had this huge logjam at 9-9 in the conference. The fact that y'all got all the things to go your way to get the 5 seed. You think that helps you because your metrics are good, your net is good? Do you think all those things will work in your favor? And could allow you, if you could win some games in this tournament, to maybe bump up your seed?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was a logjam of us at 9-9. Us beating A&M twice was very beneficial. I mean, yeah, I think us having the NCAA doesn't look at your tournament seeding. I mean, Iowa State's going to get in there 7-11 in the Big 12. It's just your overall record. The conference record doesn't matter nearly as much as it used to. I think they took conference record even off the team sheets a couple of years ago. Yeah, I mean, I think getting in that. I guess 9-9, whether we're the 5 seed or the 9 seed, I don't think mattered that much, outside of maybe perception a little bit. But you know, we got the tiebreakers. You know, it gives us opportunity. It gives us opportunity against Missouri and them, and Missouri and Ole Miss, and then if we could win that, it gives us opportunity against Arkansas. That's what we're looking for, is opportunities against teams that are, you know, ahead of us a little bit, so to speak.